Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Hello.
Hey, Lauren. How are you today?
I'm good.
How about this weather?
It's pretty nice, isn't
Love it. Yeah, I love it. Nice and cool. A little warm, though, right now. Warmer today. Warmer for a couple of days.
What's the temperature?
I don't know. It's like 80. It'll be in the 80s. About around 80.
By the end of the week, it'll be 80, right? But then the weekend, I think, is going to be
good.
like in the 60s.
No worries.
Yeah.
Tough to complain. Wilder Show podcast. You can find us on Instagram. You simply go to Instagram, then you search Wilder Show Pod. And you'll find us and like and all that. If you want to send us email podcast at wildershow.com. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And we do now and again make appearances on the TikTok. The World Series, man, it was so good. I mean, I guess if you were for the team from America, from the country America, which I was, it was great. It was just great. I mean, they were really going into Friday night down, 3-2.
Yeah.
And so just hoping for a game 7, which I always hope for more baseball, and got a game 7. And then just a remarkable win in game 7. It was, it's everything I love about baseball. It really is.
When the Rangers won, remind me, we won in 5. Is that correct? We only lost one game, right?
I think we lost one home game. I know we didn't lose any road games.
Yeah. So we only lost one game.
That sounds right.
Okay. I was just trying to remember when I was following along. And I wasn't a good baseball fan. I didn't watch really any of this series. But in thinking about it, going to like really being stretched out to those 7 games, you really had no idea if it was going to go. It kind of seemed like the Blue Jays were going to wrap it up.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Before we would need a full 7 games, and so it just got me thinking about how often does that happen, and how often is it? I mean, I know there have been plenty of teams that wrapped it up in 4, maybe not plenty, but 4 games.
4,
the
yeah,
Red
sure,
Sox
yeah, and the Red Sox
right?
did, sure, yeah.
So I was just trying to remember about the Rangers, and I was wondering. I know I could have found out very quickly. We've talked at church before. We've had a sermon about how we don't wonder about anything. We don't have to wonder about anything because the answer to virtually everything is at our fingertips.
So people don't say, I wonder. It's like, don't wonder. Just go figure it out. Find it.
So I wondered about that for a while, but I did not take I don't know if it was my attachment to wondering. Or if it was just laziness.
So that's good. So you like to wonder. So
I like to wonder. I'm trying to increase my,
it could be anything at
my
all.
wondering. Yeah.
Having the answer makes it only one thing. Which some people like having the answer.
I do like that about a lot of things. Maybe that's why I'm trying to increase my wondering time. I'm not very good at wondering.
I hear you. Will Smith was a catcher in the game. He caught for the Dodgers, and he caught all games. All 7 games. But one of those games was an 18-inning game.
It's a lot of catching.
And he caught all the innings, all the games. He has caught more innings in the World Series than any catcher in history.
Okay, so you told me this before. So I will not, unfortunately, I will not be able to respond with the same awe that I was able to, because I had no idea. I had no idea about this
the
stat.
next thing?
Yeah.
The next thing I'm going to tell you is this, and it is really quite something. His name's Will Smith, not that one.
Not that one.
But he did slap him back. Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers, has won the World Series 6 years in a row.
I couldn't believe it.
Can you believe that? Let's go back. In 2020, he was the catcher for the Dodgers when the Dodgers won the World Series. The next year, he was the catcher for the Braves when the Braves won the World Series in 2021. In 2022, Will Smith was the catcher for the Astros when they won the World Series. The next year, in 2023, Will Smith was the catcher for the Rangers. And in 2024 and in 2025, Will Smith was the catcher for the Dodgers. He won the World Series 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, 6 years in a row.
It seems like he would be the player that everyone would be fighting for. Let's
get Will.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was great. It was great baseball. I'm sad that it's over. I'm always sad when it's over. And we also had the Canadian national anthem sung in Toronto.
Yeah.
In an indoor stadium.
Bet it was beautiful.
And everyone there sings along.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy starts it. And sometimes the middle verse, they sing in French.
Yeah.
Not always. They didn't on Game 7. They didn't. It was all in English. But I always like when a national anthem is being sung and the people actually sing it. I remember one national anthem at some sporting event, and whoever sang it just started it. It was our national anthem. Just started it. And basically, everybody sang along and finished the whole song.
Wow.
So, okay, we have to dive into the shutdown. The president, the shutdown. We have the shutdown to talk about. We have the election that's coming up today, on Tuesday. The election today, very big.
Right.
New York, big. New Jersey, big. Virginia, very big. And California, that whole thing about the changing, the redistricting and all that. That's big. So pretty big day. And I'll be staying up late tonight to watch. So we'll talk. So the showdown, the election, and we have to talk about Nigeria. I've been to Nigeria twice. It's big. What's going on right now in Nigeria is big. And the president is threatening, I think the quote was, come in guns a-blazing to Nigeria.
It's quite an image.
So what the heck is going on in Nigeria? Nigeria is a country on the continent of Africa. Let's talk about the shutdown. I think the shutdown is going to be over maybe by the end of the week, certainly by the 14th. I think Democrats are going to work to bring about the end to this after the election. I think keeping it alive, I think it serves a purpose for Democrats, it being in place before the election. It doesn't matter how many people have lost their SNAP benefits and by the food stamps. By the way, some of that has been restored, so it was a whole legal thing, a court thing. But the bottom line is they want it as a campaign issue. They want it as election fodder. Remember that these people lost their SNAP benefits, lost them over the weekend, not anymore on the 1st, on the 2nd, or the 3rd. And they say, well, that's okay, whatever, because we need that as an issue. I think that's right. I think they want to use it as a leverage issue. Aren't you in pain? Then come vote for us. We can fix it. I'm not saying that they're going to fix it after the election. I'm just saying that their need for it to be there is no longer the case. It's no longer the case.
Wouldn't it be better? I mean, in a perfect world, just fix it fast and say, vote for us. Look at how we fixed this. Yeah, I know. But sadly, that's not the way it works. It's just not. If you could point to the other guys, I was seeing the approval for Democrats is like 24%. It's low. Disapproval is like 55%. So they got really nothing going for them except we're not them. Well, the other guys that you're pointing to and saying we're not them, you have to make sure at every opportunity you define those people as bad and evil. And certainly the shutdown, it's what we talked about at the beginning. The shutdown has everything to do with who can be blamed. If they can blame Republicans for the shutdown and use that pain of their own people, that pain of the union members, that pain of the SNAP recipients, if they can use that pain for votes, they don't care. They don't care. And so that's why I think its usefulness is over. Yeah.
They needed it as a campaign issue, and its usefulness will be over. So the only reason they would extend it beyond maybe this week or early next week would be if they saw that the blame was going largely to the Republican side, and I don't think that's happening. So it's over. But everyone should note, everyone should remember that they kept this alive when they didn't have to. I mean, if they come to the table and they solve this on Thursday or Friday of this week, it's reasonable for everyone to wonder, what's different about Friday?
What could you do today
from
that
Monday?
You couldn't have done at the beginning of the week? Sure.
Yeah, or last Friday. What's different? What's different is they wanted to use it as leverage. They wanted to use your pain for their gain, truly. Now, let me say a word about in this whole shutdown thing. Part of it is the military going to get paid and all this kind of stuff. And this is sort of a thing I've been meaning to talk about since I first saw it. And it also applies to the ballroom, okay? The ballroom that's being the big, beautiful ballroom that's being built. When the president says, I have some dear friends, some rich friends who have offered to pay $125 million to cover some of the military's paychecks here in this interim time. Now, there are two ways of thinking of it. I think most people would think of it the way that I don't. Most people would say, man, isn't that something? That's really good. It's good that somebody would pony up and do that. Let me tell you why I don't think that's the case. If we go down that road where, well, the president just pulls out the money out of his pocket, he can pay for it. If you're Elon Musk, if he was the president, I mean, Elon, you could pay everybody. See, here's the deal. If you do that, you delay the fixing of the government stuff.
Sure.
There are real reasons there is tension. Let it go. I'm not saying I want military to not be paid, and that wasn't even an issue. But Trump was saying, I have friends that are going to bring in money. The other thing is, so we can only vote then for somebody for president if they have lots of millionaire friends in case things go awry and we need to have somebody pony up some money. Then, somebody's friends can pay some money. Bad idea. The other thing is,
terrible idea.
No money in Washington or in the government. No money, whether it comes from individuals or corporations, no money comes without strings. You see the long list of the people that are funding and paying for the big, beautiful ballroom? I mean, it's a whole long list of people, but guess what? Almost every one of those entities has some kind of action before a government agency.
That's really bad.
I mean, Palantir is one, and Palantir and they're a great company, but Palantir, there are lots of wild things going on with facial recognition and all kinds of weird stuff. They have lots of government contracts. You have Meta is in there. Other technology companies are in there. And it's like, well, for them, it's not that much. You throw some money into the big, beautiful ballroom and make the president happy. But then you come back and say, Mr. President, we love the big, beautiful ballroom. And remember, we were participants in that. I mean, we ponied up some money for that. And that whole extra little wing over there was because of the donation from our company, XYZ. And then you try and get favors as a result. Not a good idea. I say, look, if we can't pay for taxpayer money. Now, I say that, but all those monuments were not paid for not all of them were paid for with taxpayer money. I wouldn't want there not to be, and I don't know if this applies to this. I think it probably does. The Vietnam War Memorial. There was a Vietnam War Memorial Fund, a Korean War Memorial Fund that helped to make it so. At the same time, that's a little different from all of America throwing in $28 each. And, somebody throwing in $125 million for something. So anyway, I don't like the whole idea that it's up to our president to either do it himself or have rich friends. I don't think it's a good idea. Also, if it's not a good idea and people say, well, if it were a great idea, we could use taxpayer funds for it. And any president, this president, a future president could say, yeah, you know what? It's okay that you don't think it's a good idea. I'm going to go find the money and we're going to do it anyway, even if it's not a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. That's not a good way to fund things, I don't think. The election, big. Is it Mom Donnie?
Mom Donnie.
Mom Donnie. The election today. Look, there are two ways of thinking about it. I don't think Democrats want him to win. I don't. I think some Republicans wouldn't mind if he won.
When you say you think Democrats don't want him to win, which ones? Because
the ones that are not progressive. I mean, look at the candidate for her name escapes me. The candidate for the Virginia governorship, and she's a stark.
So you mean
Democrats
in leadership?
Yeah. I mean the young people that came out to vote early.
Yeah,
they're going crazy.
Oh yeah.
Because he's promising everything.
Yeah.
Stuff that he can't even deliver. He cannot even deliver. This is what the candidate, who happens to be a woman, running for governor of Virginia.
Abigail Spanberger.
Yes, Abigail Spanberger. And what she says is, she's talking about Mamdani. She said, listen, people believe us when we tell them we can do things. And when you tell them you can do things, it's a lie if it's something you know you can't do. They don't want just to be told that we can do things, and then they vote for us and we get elected, and then we say, oh, you know what? Yeah, it didn't work out.
It was a really good idea.
Yeah,
it would have been really cool.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
I didn't really do the math.
Yeah, but I still have the gig. I mean, that is part of the problem. And she says that's not a good idea. Yeah. So those are the Democrats that I think are not as interested in it going well for not just progressive, but it's socialist Democrat. So but for Republicans, man, bring it on. I mean, if they want to take their city down, take them down. The only downside, obviously, is when a city goes down, everybody has to bail them out. We've seen that. But yeah, I think a lot of Republicans would say, doesn't matter. Good issue to run on. This is the party of Mamdani. This is the party of socialism. This is the party of failed experiments, like free bus rides in New York. How did that work out? The government-owned grocery stores, empty shelves everywhere, whatever, right, in the visual. So I think a lot of people on the Republican side would say that's why they're kind of keeping their mouths shut.
Yeah.
The president was asked about that on the interview in 60 Minutes. It is funny for him to go back on 60 Minutes after he won $16 million from CBS.
Yeah.
And say, hey, how you doing? Thanks for the dough.
Uh-huh.
But he's he's asked about the whole thing with Mamdani. And here's what he said. He said, if you're asking me who I would vote for between a socialist and a bad Democrat, I'd vote for the bad Democrat. And of course, then it becomes a deal where Mamdani says, see, Cuomo is liked. No, he said he's a bad Democrat.
Yeah.
So I will see. I'm really hopeful. I mean, honestly, I'm hopeful that it is not Mamdani. I think it'd be good to quash that right away. Don't let that nonsense in a city. And it's not that he's a Muslim. It's that he holds the views that he holds.
Yeah.
We're not voting against somebody because of their religion. That wouldn't be right. But he holds views that are just radical and out of control. And so, no, I hope that he loses. It also would sort of put the kibosh on, what's her face? AOC. I think that'd be nice to have her know right away. Yeah, no. And you can't win the presidency. It's not going to work. Now, if you want to run for Chuck Schumer's seat, it's the old joke. You don't have to outrun the bear, just outrun Chuck Schumer.
Right.
I think she can outrun Chuck Schumer. I think she could probably beat him in the primary. He'd be primaried by her. That would be interesting. But she's put a lot of eggs in that basket for Mamdani, and so has Obama. He's reared his now gray head again to be a part of it. He sees himself as sort of a kingmaker.
Yeah.
We'll see. I have no idea. I don't know if he's a kingmaker or not. I don't know. I thought we weren't supposed to have kings. And then California, that whole redistricting thing. I saw Gavin Newsom over the weekend on one of the talk shows. I think Meet the Press had him on for like 40 minutes or something. Man, he is so hard to watch and listen to. He's so pompous. So full of himself with that hair. He just really thinks he's all that in a bag of chips.
You think
does.
So?
Oh, my gosh. Watch him sometime. He just thinks he is all that.
Is he well coiffed?
Nigeria. Now, I've been to Nigeria twice. It is a very tough place to be, especially now with Boko Haram, the Islamist group. Lauren, you remember the first time I went to Nigeria and came back, and I said, here's the layout of the country. Here's exactly what's going on. You have the lower third of the country that is largely Christian. You have the northern part of the country that is largely, almost exclusively Muslim. And you have sort of the battle for Middle Earth there in the middle with a hat tip to Tolkien. That's where the warring is going on. The president was talking about Christians being massacred in Nigeria and was saying, was asked directly, would it mean military intervention? Would it mean boots on the ground? And the president's quote, I think, was, we might have to go in guns a-blazing. It's pretty stark.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true there are massacres going on in Nigeria. June 13th and 14th of this year, in the Nigerian village of Yelwata, 100 to 200 people killed. They're killed with machetes and such.
Ooh.
And 3,000 were displaced. Largely Christians were the ones that were impacted. In fact, Pope Leo XIV said the majority of those killed were internally displaced people who were being housed at a local Catholic mission. Now, let me tell you my experience real quick in Nigeria. I don't know how many people you're going to run into today that have been to Nigeria a couple of times, but I'll just tell you mine. We went to a church there that 18 months before, the people there were all massacred. They were hacked to death with machetes, and their church was burned to the ground. We met there with the wife of the pastor. What happened was it was Muslim gangs, and they were chasing Christians from the village, and the Christians all gathered in this church, and now they're trapped. And the pastor and the Christians there were murdered, place burned to the ground. Right outside this little church was the mass grave. I showed you the picture. The mass graves of those that were killed that day. So this has been going on for a long time. That was 20 years ago. So this has been going on in this most recent place in the same exact area, the 200 that were killed just in June of this year. So that's my experience in that way. But the other experience was, and I'm not going to detail it all, but there have been 2 times in my travels that I thought, this could be it. This really could be it. This could be the ultimate goodbye. And interestingly, both times, my first thought was, I never thought I would die not in the state of Texas. That was my first thought. That was your first thought? First thought. Thankfully, I didn't, obviously. I'm here. But my buddy Bill was with me. And Bill tells this story better than I do. I'm not going to give all the details that Bill gives. But we were in a bus. And I say a bus. We were in a Jeep-like thing on a road. And in front of us, there were some guys with AK-47s. We had been traveling with guys who also had AK-47s who were there to protect us. A little weird thing, in that part of the world, if a boss comes into a room and a subordinate is there, the boss will look directly at the subordinate, and the subordinate will never look directly into the eyes of the boss. That's seen as an affront. That's seen as a challenge. Like, I'm equal to you. I'm going to look at you. You look at me, I'm looking at you. They don't do that. That is a threat. We're going on this road. We couldn't turn around. There was no other lane. We couldn't pass anybody. And they had the road shut down. The guy through an interpreter told us on this in this Jeep, don't look out the window. Don't make eye contact with anyone, because they would see it as a challenge. Sure. It involved them rocking our vehicle back and forth. One of our guys with the AK-47 got out and tried to talk to them anyway. It all worked out, but it really was a time where you think, wow, that could have gone sideways fast. How much time did this whole encounter cover? Well, but we saw it on the road. We couldn't turn around. We saw it coming up, and we thought, okay, they're blocking the road. They're, dragging people out and whatnot. Probably 20 minutes, maybe, something like that, 20, 25 minutes. That's a lot to feel vulnerable. Unbelievable. It was crazy. And there are other times I've been in places like very heavily Muslim areas where I remember I was in a market once and somebody tried to pickpocket me. And I had a camera, like the old digital cameras. Yeah. So I had like the little strap hanging out of my pocket. So one guy comes up to me in this marketplace and kind of bumps into me to my left, while another guy right at that same moment is working with him to pickpocket me. Yeah. And I grabbed his hand and I told him no, and I started walking away. But I got to tell you, I knew at that moment, if that guy had said that I had cursed Allah, or if I had spat on the Quran, it'd be over. Yeah. I mean, nobody where I was, nobody waits for anything reasonable. I mean, it's very, very tough to be there and to see that. Oh, man, that's my background on being in Nigeria. And so when I hear the president talking about the violence that's going on in Nigeria and might there be military plans, I don't want there to be military plans in Nigeria, but the president says, hey, prepare for action against Islamist militants in Nigeria. So here's what the president said. He said they're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. It's tough talk, man. It's always a reminder to me, when I've been overseas, I think of people back here. When I've seen the things that I've seen over there, I think, what's going on back home? Just normal stuff. Just normal stuff. Going to the store, getting the clearance candy left over from Halloween.
Figuring out what you're going to watch on TV that night.
Yeah. A new series starting on Netflix, so I got to watch that. Meanwhile, over here, this total mayhem is going on. And so, of course, when I'm back here, I want to remember that too.
Yeah.
They may be peaceful here, may be good here. You may be worrying about things that you think are really, really important, that I think are really, really important. But man, there is some life and death stuff going on by believers and others in other parts of the world at this very minute. So it's not to slow your roll, not to bring you down, but just it's good to keep it all in perspective. I think part of it is when we know that, it helps us appreciate what we have more. We more appreciate what we have when we realize not everybody has this. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right, let's dive into those other things for the Scattershoot. What do you have, Lauren?
Are you in the market for a new home?
No.
I have something that I think would probably interest you. I bet you've driven by it a million times. I have driven by it a million times.
Really?
Preston Road, just north of Northwest Highway.
Preston Road, north of Northwest. Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
Yes. The reason I even found this, it's a write-up in the Wall Street Journal yesterday about this magnificent real estate listing.
Is it on west side or east side?
It's on the west side.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
And it's largely, there's a big gate in front of it, a big white gate in front of it.
I know exactly the place.
If you saw anything from the street, it might just be the very top of the home. It's giant, 9,000 square feet, but it's kind of famous. It's the Rashofsky House.
Rashofsky.
Have you ever heard it called by its name?
The Rashofsky House?
The Rashofsky House.
I don't know the Rashofskys.
Yeah. So Richard Meyer, if you know architecture, which I know somebody in your family knows architecture, Richard Meyer had designed the High Museum of Art in Atlanta. Also, one of the, I don't know if it's the Getty Museum, but one of the Getty buildings in Los Angeles, and in the 80s, Howard Rashofsky, who was at the time a Dallas hedge fund manager, had visited the museum in Atlanta, and he was really impressed with the design. So he sought out Richard Meyer to see if he would be interested in designing and building a home for him. And he thought, this guy is way out of my league. The things that he designs and builds, it would be quite a house, but not really anything compared to the scale of what he does. And Richard Meyer was kind of intrigued by it. And he said he really, part of the reason was that Howard Rashofsky was an art collector. So the home would really be a gallery of sorts.
Okay.
So he was interested in it. He said, I've got this thing to do, for the Gettys. But if you can wait a little while, I can probably get to it. So 10 years later, Howard Rashofsky had his home. It was completed in 1996 for a price tag of $20 million. Back
in 1996.
In 1996.
Yeah.
In the meantime, he had met a woman who, 9,000 square feet, 2 bedrooms. It's got a gym and a swimming pool and all that, but only 2 bedrooms because the spaces they were entertaining spaces and spaces for art. I'm not take a look at it. Just Google it, find it online. It's really kind of an amazing space to look at. But so I said, in the meantime, while the home was being built, he'd met this woman who had 2 children and he was going to marry her. And so they decided this is not really the most practical place for us to live. So they used the house for events and art. And over the years, Ricky Martin was there, Barry Manilow entertained there, Diana Ross entertained there too. It's been used for some incredible, galas and events over the years. Well, they lived in a different home when their kids were growing up, just a little more manageable environment for raising kids. And then about 2010, when those kids were grown and leaving for college, they decided to move back to the home where they've lived since then. And they've just decided Howard Rashofsky is 81 and his wife Cindy is 69. They're both retired and they've decided they'd like to downsize. And so the house is on the market for the very first time, $23 million.
So they're selling it for the same amount that they...
Well, they built it for 20 and they're selling it for 23.
That's not a huge...
I don't know if maybe he got a really great deal on it or if that's just
they're ready to unload it.
Yeah, they're ready to get rid of it. But it's really crazy. They talked about how when it was first built, his wife said that people used to... They were so curious about what was behind the gate that people would throw letters over the gate, just saying, what is this place? Yeah. What is it used for? Just out of curiosity, because, that is an area where there are many beautiful, big homes built on, several acres of land. I think they said 3.9 acres.
And if you don't know what it is, it doesn't look like a house.
It doesn't look, it's got a kitchen.
It looks like a museum.
It looks like a museum. Yeah.
It really looks like a museum.
I think the lower floor, the bedrooms, and there's a gym, and maybe
a pool,
and that's on the upper floor, and then a little bit, on the main levels where all the art is, and
It's funny because architects, it's so funny. Architects sometimes design things that the common people really would have no interest in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and that's fine. You design it for yourself. That's great. I mean, whatever you want to do, that's your stuff. But if you drove by it, you would say, is this like a medical office building?
Yeah.
Or is it
big
an
enough
art? It looks looks like an art gallery, which is maybe what he wanted, what they wanted. That's fine.
To showcase his collections.
I wouldn't want that in my neighborhood, though. I mean, of course, I would never be in that level of the neighborhood, but you know what I'm saying.
Do you really even, would you think of that, if you lived in that house, would you think of yourself as being in a neighborhood? You're probably completely walled off from anyone around you. It's not like you're going to get trick-or-treaters,
But what if you were a neighbor of that? Or you just got a house that looks like a house and, everything around you looks like houses. And then you got this big... behemoth.
Welcome to just about every neighborhood that is that's starting to see teardowns. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Little mansions built in the place of
homes.
Yeah, I remember when you were turning 40 years old.
Yeah,
and you used to say at the time that you had 4 friends, one from each decade of your life.
Yeah, that's true.
And I wonder, was that like, have you now that we've been through several additional decades, do you have 6 friends now, or have you cut a few of those other ones loose and now you're still at about 4?
I'm contemplating cutting one of them loose right now. No, that's not true.
Does he just need to guess?
No, I think she's safe.
No way.
I'm playing. I don't think so. I think I really believe you have a handful of friends, and I mean literally. And I'm talking about outside of your family.
Yeah.
Obviously, your family, it's good. Although it's sometimes not everybody in your family is your friend. But if your family members are your friends, that's good. But outside of that, I think I've always felt like if you had 4 friends.
Yeah.
If you have 4 real friends. I don't mean acquaintances. I mean real friends.
Yeah.
If you got a flat tire on a Friday night and you called and said, I need help, they would say, I'm getting in the car. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
You need help? I'm there.
I'm the one. I can
help. That's it.
Help.
And at the end of the whole thing, guess what they say? Thanks for calling me.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me help you. I mean, that's a friend. So I have I probably 4. Maybe 4.
You know, I know that you don't like to think
Friends.
of yourself as average, but you're pretty much right on the
average.
You nailed it on the head.
That's
here.
about
The average
right.
American
4 is about it.
has actually just 3.6 close friendships.
I would count one of them as a 0.6.
Okay. We're losing friends, actually. We used to have more than that. Adults are steadily losing friends, dropping nearly one good friendship a year. Most adults agree that having a large network of close friends becomes harder with age. Distance makes it harder to keep up a real solid friendship, which kind of surprises me a little bit. I look at my daughter, who is in her late 20s.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like she has a lot of really close friends. And when I saw them all gathered together, I guess at her wedding, I kind of wondered how do they maintain these relationships, because they live all over the country,
virtually,
but
probably.
yes,
Yeah,
I mean they're on FaceTime.
Yeah.
They talk on the phone. They don't only text.
Yeah.
They actually have long conversations on the phone. They do visit each other. I mean, I think they're doing the things.
That's great.
They're doing the things that you have to do to nurture a friendship. And over the last few years, like maybe the last decade or so, whenever I've contemplated, I think I probably have 4 friends, not family, I mean, not including family, but 4 friends. And when I've thought in the past about moving, even just a couple of miles away, maybe 10 miles away,
it impacts your friends or
it
time.
does.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the ways that I spend time with my friends. It's not something that we plan way far in advance. It's something you're able to do because you're in, you're in close proximity to someone.
I think that as you think about as we get older, I think part of it also is our time is sort of divided. If you have a close family, then your family time is sort of eating up some of that. Either it's your son or daughter-in-law, or it's your whatever, or maybe you got grandkids. That changes things. I mean, I used to play golf at least once a week, every single week. We'd plan to play on Monday, and if it rained on Monday, we'd play on Wednesday. And if it didn't rain on Monday, sometimes we still played on Wednesday. We play every week. And then, you have kids, and golf can be expensive over time and time consuming, and
that's funny.
Life sort of moves on. And anyway, you just kind of go, I've had to shift my attention a little bit.
Yep, that's exactly what a quarter of the respondents to this survey, it was 2,000 people that they talked to about this. They cited a lack of time as the reason that those friendships faded. Another 22% said that their friendships dissolve when their values no longer align. However, that was an especially common experience among millennials. Yeah. Older people were not as quick to let go of a friendship when their values either were different from their friends or maybe changed over time, which certainly things like that do change. If you have a long-term friendship as people age, things like that change. And younger people are not as interested in keeping close relationships with people whose values don't align with theirs.
Yeah, think about that in terms of like the MAGA thing or the political stuff or whatever, some of the social issues that have been up. It's like, well, if you believe that, we probably can't be friends, which is sort of too bad. Because it's like, I think first of all, you can't ever, not that our job is, or we should be friends with someone to influence them, right? We're not talking about that. But you'll never influence someone you never have contact with. Right. And that will never happen. Right. So, maybe, and it doesn't surprise me that millennials would be the ones quicker to cut it. Yeah. It's like that's what we've talked about before with the tribalism. I'm just going to spend time with people that agree with me. Yeah. I need people to tell me that I'm right. And the best way is if I can spend time with people that believe what I believe, and I'll tell them that they're right, and they'll tell me that I'm right, and we'll congratulate each other. And we don't have to spend time defending it to all those people that don't believe what we believe. It's like, dude, that is how you strengthen your own belief is by having it be challenged. And not in a bad way, but it's not bad to have to explain, no, this is why I believe it. And we don't have to agree, but this is why I believe it. And this is consistent with my worldview, which is consistent with my priorities and my Highest association. Anyway, we've talked about that before.
Well, if you find yourself with a smaller friend group than you'd like, they do offer suggestions, ways to find people to begin friendships with, volunteering, join a group that maybe if you are, what's a hobby? What is something that you enjoy? If you enjoy some kind of, woodworking or crafting or
golf,
knitting
or, you could
golf
bake
or something like that. Yeah, join a group of people who do that. There are things, though, that you have to do once you find somebody that you want to be friends with. You have to commit to consistent check-ins with that person. You got to really work on that bond. Have genuine curiosity about the other person's life. And if you don't have genuine curiosity, you have to at least be able to fake genuine curiosity about somebody else's life. And then showing up for events that matter to them. You can't, I mean, friendships are really, they're formed, they're not just,
you got to feed them.
That's why it takes a long time to really to form those bonds of friendship. But it's not impossible to find new friends, not impossible to have new meaningful relationships.
I'm sure I've told you this story before of my buddy Tracy. I think it was Tracy. It was Tracy's and Andy's father-in-law, as I recall. I could be wrong. But this guy, I won't name him, but he was on the golf course playing golf.
Yeah.
Happened to be in Houston, or the Houston area, and playing golf. And they're on the 18th hole, and they're teeing off. 18th hole many times is usually a par 4, so you can't really hit the ball from the tee box when the guys are still waiting to hit their second shot. And so these guys in this foursome back at the tee box are looking out there and get a little impatient. Like, why aren't they moving on? And they see people sort of gathering around and more carts coming in. Anyway, it turns out the group in front of them, the foursome in front of them, was 4 guys in their 80s, play golf at least a few times a week, every week, same 4 guys.
Did something bad happen?
One of them died of a heart attack.
Wow.
On the fairway of the 18th hole. And when I was told that story, I said, I'll sign that deal right now.
80 years old.
82 years old.
On the golf course.
Which means I'm physically able to do it.
Yeah.
I have friends.
Yeah, you 3 friends, at least 3 friends.
I was like, you know what? First of all, it means you would live to be 82. Okay, I'll sign that deal. You tell me I can live to be 82. I will die on the 18th of fairway, surrounded by my 3 best friends that I spend time with every single week.
That doesn't sound too terrible.
I'll take that deal. Absolutely.
Do you want to guess which town in Texas has the highest burglary rate? Now, this is from 2023. I don't know that things would have necessarily changed that much.
Which town?
It's a
in the
town.
Whole state.
It's in the whole state.
Yeah.
It's a town. If I tell you this,
don't give me too much of a hint.
Okay, I won't.
I may ask you questions.
Yeah.
You mean to guess?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it in our area?
Is it 2.5
north
hours
of
or so?
Oh, really?
Maybe a little bit more than that.
Okay, Austin.
No, it's a tiny town.
Oh, tiny
I don't
town.
think you'll guess it.
Pflugerville.
I can narrow it down for you though. It is between 2 towns that are very important to you. It's between 2 college towns that are very important to you.
Okay. You know what? It starts with an M.
No.
Really?
Tell me which towns you're thinking of. Make sure we're on the same track.
Well, I was thinking probably between Waco and College Station.
That's right.
And
it's on Highway 6.
Yeah, it is.
Off Highway 6, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? It was a tough place back when.
Little bitty.
Back when. Hold on a second.
Fewer than 1,000 people.
Yeah, let me think of the. Go ahead and tell me.
Highest burglary rate in Texas. It's Calvert.
Yeah, Calvert, Texas. Yeah, there was a guy played football at Baylor when I think Tommy Tabor was from Calvert, Texas. But Calvert, Texas, I remember driving through Calvert.
Yeah.
When I would burn up the Highway 6 from Waco down to College Station when I was in college, and.
You went from Waco to College Station a lot when you were
dated a girl there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I would go down there, drive down there on Highway 6 and drive back. And yeah, so I was, but in those days, Highway 6 was horrible.
Yeah.
It was really bad. It was.
You mean rough, like tough to traverse?
Also, it was like, it was 2-lane undivided.
Yeah.
It was 2-lane undivided.
Yeah.
And you're just going, 75 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was, and I remember Calvert, I remember thinking, this is not happening, man.
16 burglaries in 2023. You only have 969 people. That's a 1.65 per 100 residents. Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, in that town, it could be the same burglar.
Think
about that.
It may be good.
One guy.
Yep, just one guy.
So if you think of it that way, how many towns only have one burglar? There you go. Calvert.
Look at you looking on the bright side.
There you go, Calvert Chamber of Commerce. Use that on your promo material. We only have one burglar in our whole town. That is the Wilder Show podcast. All right. Instagram, find us there. I didn't put an Instagram thing up last time.
No, wait, I thought you did.
Did I? I don't think so. Anyway, we'll do it this time.
Okay.
Instagram, find us, Wilder Show Pod. And you'll follow, and all that. If you want to send us email, just email to podcast@wildershow.com. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays, Fridays, 6 a.m. Central on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. So rate, follow, subscribe, and share. We're also on the TikTok. Now and again, find us there. Lauren, thank you.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time. Da 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 da.